quickly approaching the back end of May now, so it's about time we planted out the tomatoes that will be competing against each other in the best of the blight resistant tomatoes. All of these have been grown in near identical conditions as possible. They were sown on the same date, same size pot, exactly the same compost, and watered all at the same time. I shall be selecting the 4 best specimens from each variety and planting them out into the bed, so that's a total of 12 plants all told, and we'll be checking them against blight resistance obviously, but also quality of taste, flavour, and also size of crop. Now, because these beds haven't had any water for a good few days, it was probably a few weeks, I'm going to give these 5 minutes of water on the top, let it soak in, ready to receive the plants. I've selected the 4 best specimens that I consider to be of each variety. First on the left here, we got the Mountain Magic. In the centre, that's for a Crimson Crush, and ringing up the rear on this end is the Furloy. And there we have it, all 12 plants are out, 3 different varieties. The very left there we have the Mountain Magic, Crimson Crush in the centre, and on the right here we have the Furloy. With all the plants, I forgot to mention, what I did do is remove the little seed leaves, the cotyledon, and this allows the plants to sink a little lower in the soil without actually rotting anything. Hopefully they'll throw a few more roots out. I am really looking forward to seeing what happens here and do all fairly high ups, because this time last year that bed there looked like this. It was top dressed with a good 6 to 8 inches of horse manure, and this is how it's rotted down and turned in, so there shouldn't be short of nutrition in there. So we'll see how it goes. All the plants there now have got a metal stake behind on the north side of the plant, and we're secured to that with a little Velcro tie. It's always lovely to see wildlife on the allotment, but sometimes there's exceptions. There's my asparagus bed, and yes, it needs weeding, but I've had a visit from the mole. See a little hill there, and there's another one down here. He's starting to go up against this side here. One of the plot elders a few days earlier had spotted him halfway up the site, and looks as though he's moving down here. Hopefully he'll move on somewhere else. One of the last major planting out jobs for the beds on the allotment this year is this one here, and this is going to contain all the Brassicas. After lifting the cover, just noticed these, the strength and power of ants moving these maggots down into the burrows. And you can, I don't know if you'll be able to see them there, just carrying down. This is with the covers removed now. If you remember from very early in the season, I trenched these beds with cow manure, went down real deep, put a good layer in, and then the soil back on top. So I'm just going to leave them as they are and plant directly in with the Brassicas. Obviously if there's a weed here and there I'll fetch that out, but that's it, so it's time to start planting. These are the mouths of the Brassicas. I say mouths, I've still got a few in the greenhouse in the garden, the plug ones out from DT Brown. So I'll be fetching these out, sorting them out into their families, and then we'll see about planting. The numbering system really did come into its own on there, because these was in the cold frame on a gravel tray for ease of watering. They was all mixed up. Anyway, I've collected all the similar numbers together, segregated them back in the families. There on the end we've got the Killerton cabbage. Next one up, it's the Crispus sprouts. The one in the centre here is the greyhound, or as Dave Taylor calls it, dog. Next one is Clapton cauliflower, and up on the end is a favourite of mine. It's the Calabrese called Iron Man. For the newer gardeners amongst us, this is the Brassica bed. All the Brassica family, cabbage, cauliflower, sprouts, broccoli, calabrese, stuff like that, sometimes succumb to a virus called club root. And what that is, it's a fibrous growth, and it makes all the roots swell and big nodules grow on them. Eventually it slows the plant down and it doesn't do very good. In history there was chemicals available what you could water into the soil and to combat it, but they've been long taken off the market. Nowadays, an efficient method I've found is to actually use garden lime. Now what I've done, I've marked the spacings out for my plants a lot deeper than the plant is, and don't be afraid to give a good dusting in the hole of what the plant's going to go, like that. I'll just give this as a demonstration. Now these are sprouts. I've got 8, 4 each side already. This one's the same variety called Crispus, which is a clubroot variety anyway, but this has got a P by the side of it, means it was a plug plant. And these was originally supplied by DT Brown. So what I'll be doing is comparing my seed grown sprouts against the one purchased as plugs. And it could be a thing to consider in the future. Is it worth sowing from seed or actually buying plugs in, particularly if you can get the variety after? So let's start planting. Take the plant out. I've already given the hole a good dusting. I don't know, shake it all over the plant like that, really cover it. Put the plant down a lot deeper. You can actually remove any leaves from the bottom if you want to. Sink that down and just pull the soil in. Give it a good firming, because brassicas like firm soil. And that there's created a little welling which will contain the water for when we water in and help the roots develop. One final thing, for the first watering in, actually put a handful of lime into the watering can, fill that up so it's got a diluted lime wash, and that's just for the first water. And all that does there, it puts the lime into the top of the soil where the plant's just been planted. After that there, it's just the normal watering. That's all the Brassicas finished now. Right along the back row, sprouts. The left bed is cabbage. The centre row here is cauliflower. And on the right is a mixture of calabrese. Got some good news. Looks like the mole's gone. Yeah, I've been for about 3 days. But the weeds keep coming. One thing what passes the time with the weeding, I'll listen to a bit of music or even podcast. Talking of podcasts, I met up with a good guy, Richard, from the Veg Grower Podcast at the Malvern Show. We got together, we had a little chat, and he put it on his podcast. So I'll put a link underneath for Richard's podcast and also his YouTube channel as well. I'm going to carry on weeding, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.